And hello everyone, welcome to USFC 170. We will get started very shortly. I know I'm just ever so slightly late. I had to make some brunch, and that's why, but we're here now. Gonna join the commentators cabin and get started. I know some people need to fight early, so we're not gonna waste any more time. Captain Adler against Oak to start us off. I'll unmute myself on Discord so people can hear over there when it's their turn. Captain Adler will start on the left. Oak will start on the right. And Pico was not able to play today. I know I announced that he would be one of the contenders for the champion title, but he has not. He had to go, I assume, due to work. So what we're actually going to do is right before the scheduled championship fight, we'll have Platypi fight Sir Radzik, and whoever wins will have the 3-win streak required to challenge me. And so that's how we'll do it. Just gonna ping the guys, make sure they heard that. They are fighting. Should be coming through both on YouTube and on Discord. Captain Adler is here. If Oak doesn't show up for some reason, I know Clemino needs to fight ASAP, so we can have those two fight as well, but it looks like Oak is here, so all is well. Let's get in the game. Pumped for this event after all the good stuff I've seen from the game. I know the game has been on quite the downward spiral for months on end, if not a whole year, but things are starting to turn around. The game's looking better. Coop will listen to some of the feedback, which is great. So I was sure to send him a message thanking him for that as well, because that's a pretty big deal. Give him all the positive reinforcement possible for making the game better. Oak has been playing Samuel lately, so I'm not actually surprised he went with Samuel. Some people might be. But yesterday he randomly decided to play Samuel. He has some experience, but it was still a surprise, I would say. Nice exchange to start us off. These two players are fantastic, by the way. Captain Adler obviously less experienced, but he, at this point, has played tons of tournaments and beaten many people, so these two can definitely play on equal terms, but defeating Oak for anybody is not going to be simple. He is one of those guys who just knows how to punish you immediately if you make a small mistake, so. Cool, voice sound is good. I just double checking the audio there. If anybody wants to join me in the commentator cabin, I know Clemino has expressed interest at some point. You can always feel free to let me know. Oak got Blade Beat, but was still able to parry, although Captain Adler eventually forces that attack through. Samuel is very good at returning to guard really quickly. So you can think there's an opening available, but there actually isn't one sometimes. Nice. Yeah, beautiful hit. I'll check if the game captures are on after this round. It should be. It's not that big of a deal, but it is nice to have the game capture take precedent. Oak is taking quite an advantage here against Captain Adler. Good exchange damage again. Oak with the stab to the shoulder, not the face, so it didn't quite kill, but it did do some damage, and the follow-up hit as well. But Tarnowski is kind of tanky, so sometimes these blows will not kill. There's a hit by Captain Adler, but yeah, he has to follow up to finish. Probably didn't help that he had been injured previously. And Oak maintaining the advantage, but we've seen crazier comebacks before. Although trying to make a comeback against Oak for anybody is not going to be a simple matter. And there we go. Oak is able to also get a clean hit and actually win the trade. Probably due to hit location. Okay, I'll just... Oh, somebody went back. That's fine. I'm just gonna take this opportunity to double check the game capture release, which is the names. Yeah, capturing Hellish Quart, beautiful. It's more of a visual thing. Obviously I was capturing the game regardless, but looks better that way. You don't have to see OBS every time I alt tab. One second. Okay, go ahead. Switch of characters here makes sense because Tarna didn't go very well. So, Samuel, I think, tends to be a pretty good counter to Connor. But, if Connor is played really well, he can be very annoying to fight against. His weaknesses are also kind of annoying to fight around for the Connor players. So it can go both ways, but the lack of weaknesses for Connor, beyond sort of sidestepping, maybe with the leg, maybe pushing him, although he can recover from pushes, can make a really good Connor difficult to fight, especially if he knows the best moves. Let me know what's close to getting a title shot, as somebody asked when he's going to win the championship, but I think he has a prospect. He's shown that he's able to maintain a streak. So. Trying to go low there, the rim of the shield caught the sword, so it did not get through. Sometimes you can blow through the rim of the shield, which makes sense. That's kind of the peak of the shield, so to speak, because that's where there's less leverage to work with, but sometimes in this game that will not work, so you can't really too much. You gotta still aim for the openings, not the shield directly, unless you're using that to set up a future attack. Nice exchange between these two. Much closer fight, but Captain Adler now has an advantage, which could be huge. Nice hit though by Oak. Alright, down to a while. The wire. Okay. Hang on, I gotta switch the names. Go ahead. Nice hit there by Captain Adler. Both are kind of tired now after that series. Yeah, Isabella fighting well for the center there. Siri, shut up. It's a best of 5. Yeah, Siri was about to blabber about something because I don't know, I said some magic word and then it freaked out. It was funny. But Oak is in a great spot here. He won both of his fights, or his rounds, so he needs one more to secure the win. But it was much more hard fought. Isabella can be quite a challenge for any character, although Sam is often regarded as a counter. You might have to be a little more creative with creating your opportunities with Isabella to make this matchup work. But so far, Captain Adler is making it quite tough for Oak. His Isabella is actually really good, having fought it myself in the Isabella mirror and with Barabash. I know firsthand how dangerous it can be. And just one more needed for Captain Adler to get a decisive win against Samuel. But Oak might just make a comeback. He is immune to the commentator's curse, so I can mention that. He's that good at making comebacks. Oh, but he almost proved me wrong there. That was close. He got a hit to the arm and hit to the head, which saved him. Oh my goodness. Chaotic exchange. Oak with another flag after all of that. Some crazy interactions there, as he said. And Oak is still fighting it out. Will he complete the comeback? This last flag is the hardest of them all. Regardless of if Captain Adler can win it or not. Oh, and there's a hit to the body, but not the head, so no kill just yet. With that move in particular, anyway. Nice exchange again, and the upcut catches Oak's blade. Definitely hard fought there, but Captain Adler got it. Oak was not quite able to make the comeback, so we continue. But Oak is still in a good spot here. If he continues playing like that, it's quite possible he can run away with this still. Captain Adler sticking with Isabella. There's a flag for Oak right out of the gate. That's gotta be good for his morale. Having made the comeback, he knows that, you know, certain things will work. Despite having lost the initial 2 rounds. Or the initial round against Isabella. Exchange there is in Captain Adler's favor. Upcut doesn't quite work. Oak is able to get a hit. Big slash by Oak. He's trying to bait something there, but the linger of the high guard cut is dangerous, so you often don't want to engage it quite like that. Upcut in the thrust, but Oak does the right thing there, moving to the side. That thrust does not have very good tracking, so you can get to the side. That can often help either defend against it or even reduce the damage, because it's grazing you instead of hitting you properly. Nice stab there. And Captain Adler's making this competitive. If he wins another one, it'll be 2-2. Nice series of hits by Oak there. He gets the initial down forward X, that snap cut lunge to the hand there, and then he follows it up. Gotta be a little bit careful playing a distance game against Isabella, but Sam actually does a decent job at it with his lunges and the leg cut. Various other tools that he has. The back wide can be a good sort of scapegoat as well. If something goes wrong, you can quickly back wide. You're not completely safe when you do it, but it's basically his safest move. It's very, very difficult to punish. Nice, he did that dash into snap cut, which we don't see very often, but it went right for Isabella's head. Stab though, as Oak walks right into the point. It's a common trap there. You want to get close to Isabella, but that can make it easier for her to stab you. Beating the blade, but Oak whiffs it there, thanks to high guard. That's why you gotta be careful, especially against an Isabella, trying to just beat the blade and not attack the person. And actually another close one. All the rounds between Isabella and Sam have been close so far. Back X there by Oak, and it's down to the wire. Oak can still win this pretty decisively. But he's gotta get the win here, otherwise it'll be 2-2. Captain Adler playing it tight. He doesn't want to overextend, and he actually doesn't there. There's a good bait with the thrust into the back X. We're switching sides again. Beautiful hit to the arm. Nice parry with the X cut there. It's a slow move, but that's actually one of the utilities of it, is that you can use the startup Moulinet to parry the initial attack and then come in with the cut. Thrust there by Oak. Making it 3-0, it's pretty decisive. Oak wanting to get an advantage right out of the gate, and he does. Nice aggression to get initiative back. Captain Adler now having to weather the storm, but there's a snap cut to the arm. Isabella is one of those characters that can really shut you down instantly. good stab. Like Captain Adler making this competitive again. As Oak still maintains a lead, but it's not really a big one anymore. That's a double. Lunging in, nice exchange of cuts. Oak not quite able to get a hit. Goes for a sidestep. Captain Adler matching the footwork well, though. The thrust, however, misses. You got to be very careful against a lateral moving foe. Going with long guard again. Got to be a little careful as that blade can be beaten. It's not much of a defense against cuts. He tried to use it as sort of a bait to use high guard, which is something I sometimes do, but it's a double. Ooh, interrupts Oak there, that was good, but not able to secure the kill. Exchange. And a sidestep by Oak. Breaking up the tempo a little bit and going low. And Oak needs 2 more flags to secure the win. And there's a push, but Captain Adler is able to recover in time. However, he is tired, actually. So he definitely paid a price for that, but he's still able to get the kill. Nice blade beat of the stab. Goes low and barely blocks it in time. The high guard cut attempted to punish that, but not quite. Sidestep X again, very good move. One more needed for Oak. Going to the hand, not quite able to get the hit. Good exchange again. Oak keeps pressuring. Captain Adler seeing a little bit of weakness there. The upcut out of measure as Oak is able to get out of the way. His opponent will not be able to last much longer with that stamina in the long exchange, but it looks like Oak is kind of forcing his opponent to play that game. So it'll be up to Captain Adler to secure a kill relatively quickly. Unless Oak gives him a chance to recover, which might also happen. That's a double. Feint there by Oak, trying to catch Captain Adler in a little bit. Another feint. Goes forward with the cut there, brave move, but not able to get the hit. It's another exchange, but Oak finds a nice angle. This is a great way to hit Isabella. They go for that sidestep, and that hit was devastating, as was the follow-up. And Oak takes it, but a nice close fight to start off the USFC. Now we have Clemino against Max. I know Clemino needs to fight early, so we'll get that fight out of the way ASAP. Yes, Turk, I believe I have you on the fight card now. We can still get somebody to fight you, but... Here, I'll post it in the USFC so that people can see it. It hasn't changed that much. The only change is that Turk is on it. We need to get him an opponent still. And let me just check the statistics out of curiosity to see if he's on a streak or not. Because I think... Yes, he is on a streak at the moment. I think... We'll still give him a chance to fight, of course. I don't know if he'll get a chance to challenge the champion, though, just because he signed up late. But if he does win his fight, then he'll be the next contender. I think that's how we'll do it. Because we still do need somebody to step up and challenge the champion next week. So Turk would be a perfect candidate for that. We can just, if he gets his win, he can secure that. And that's all good. Okay, Clemino is here. We could also get Turk to fight Clemino. That would make the most sense if Max doesn't show up in the next minute or so. So we won't give him much more time for efficiency's sake. But if Max will need a fight in the future, we can figure that out. Thanks for the ping, by the way. I forgot to ping him, so I'll give him a bit of time. All right, I think another minute's sufficient. All right, give him another 20 seconds or so. All right, let's get Turk in. If he's available. You know, Turk, if you are around, you're fighting Clemino at this point. Unless Max joins, like, instantly. I'll put Max at the back of the fight card. Hopefully Turk is around. Yeah, no response from Turk. It looks like he's currently got his notifications disabled. So he's probably away or busy or something else. Alright, well, Clemino will still give you somebody to fight. I'll just check the previous matches and see who you have fought before. So I'll try and get you somebody you haven't fought yet. You fought Info, so we're not going to do Info again. Didn't fight last time, actually. Fought Squirrel, Dauntless Dreams. Yeah, and I think that was your first fight. Cool. So we could put you up against, I don't know, a beer, I guess? If that's fine with a beer. Let's see if a beer is here. Yeah, because Clemino needs a fight right now, so. Well, he's not joining my parsec, so. Okay, so Max might be here after all, but I'm not getting any communication from him. Beer is not here either, so it looks like we're gonna skip. Well, actually, no info's here, so we'll get info of fight, but I'm gonna have to put a beer in the back of the fight card against Turk or something at that point. Yeah, no, you're not getting 2 fights. You're getting. Okay, info's joining. Okay, somebody join the parsec, please, so we can get started. Okay, I don't even care who, just somebody. Info's joining. I guess we'll do info then. Alright. Info it is. And Max will fight later, I suppose. Max is also here. Well. Oh, okay. I guess it is Max after all. He's at Info's place. Alright, that works out then. Let's do it. I'm assuming keyboard is needed. Sorry for the wait, let me know some people haven't been responding, including a beer, so until like recently, so. And Max as well wasn't responding and Info wasn't, so. Take the left side, Clemino, you're on the left. If you need keyboard, ping me. Yes, okay. Go ahead, click the window if it's not working, cool. Info. You have, or Max I should say, you have keyboard. uh, okay, going with Yendrick there, Max. Welcome, Bob Hendrickson. Glad you were able to show up live. Okay, Clemino's going with Barabash, which is a new pick. I don't think I've seen that before, but against Yendrick, that's a pretty damn good pick, I would say. Barabash's plan is pretty simple here, just to close the distance, uses explosive movement to get to the side, this sort of thing. And typically, at such a close range, Yendrick will struggle to defend himself. If the Barabash tries to play the range game, that's where Yendrick will get a chance, but otherwise Barabash will cut him to pieces. In general, Saber in this game anyway is a pretty good choice against Yendrick. Not just Barabash, but think of any Saber who has the ability to get close quickly, and they'll do well. Even Laszlo. Or Saba, even those characters do pretty well. It's funny that I'm saying even Laszlo. He used to be strong, but not quite as strong as he used to be. And right now, Clemino is just making quick work of this Yendrick. The jump is really reckless move. It was done from too close in as well, so the half was able to hit, but not the axe head. And that's the other danger you can run into as Yendrick, is you're not hitting with the axe head because you misranged your attack, and it might not have the effect that you want it to have. The snap cut does connect, but Yendrick is able to power through it and still get a hit of his own after that sequence. They both have taken a hit at this point, but Barabash is quicker to the punch. Clemino with a decisive early victory here in round 1. Max will need to change something. Whether that's the character or the way he's playing the character. Yes, we use Parsec for these tournaments. Sometimes Steam Remote if Parsec doesn't work, but typically Parsec is favored. Okay, Max, you're on the left now, buddy. Click on the window if it's not working. Alright, maybe we have to back out. Max, take the left side, please. I don't know what's taking Max so long to select. There he goes. Surprisingly, Clemino has switched to Yazuk, but like I said, any Saber pretty much a good choice here. Which, as Russ Mitchell showed me, the Fokosh in real life actually has an advantage on Saber if you use the distancing of it properly. You block the axe head and the power of the blow coming in is pretty substantial. And the reach that the Fokosh enjoys, so it actually is a IRL, a great weapon, but if it had all the tools that it has in real life in this game, it would be pretty monstrous as a weapon. Perhaps quite broken. The punching combo he has is bad enough as it is. Imagine if it had even more options like that, and you could see how quickly how that would be frustrating in a game like this. But Yendrick does one thing really well, and that's breaking through guards and, you know, causing chaos, so...
Hey! Ha!
And a double. Yeah, even like European and NA players can play against each other pretty well, as long as the internet is good and the connection is stable.
Oh, yeah.
Where the ping gets unbearable is if you're like in Asia and then somebody's in North America or something like that, and you try playing. Then you could run into problems. Usually above 200 ping. But as long as you're below 200 ping, which EU to NA, for example, is, it's generally pretty smooth. Yeah, spaces out the chop.
Oh, yeah.
This is a much more disputed fight. Good stab. Yeah, it's due to technological limitations that the game doesn't have, like, native multiplayer. But yeah, the stability of the connection matters a lot. If the connection is stable, I could play with somebody as far as East Europe, no problem. If it's not stable, though, obviously we will run into issues.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Hey.
And there's a chop. So Clemino's switch didn't quite work out. I think Barabash is more mobile, much quicker with his cuts. Perhaps he's more straightforward in this matchup. But I think Max also made some adjustments, so that helped him out. Okay, switch sides, Max. You're on the right now. I don't know what's holding him, because he's here. He's clearly selected, but there we go. Nice. Yeah, so Barabash, again, more straightforward as a character, probably more straightforward as far as options to close in, so I think that's why it's been working better for Clemino, in fact, way better. Barabash is very clearly the option. I'd say he's generally a good counter, especially if you make use of his sidestep tools. Good sidestep again. The squat is not able to connect because of that. Nice. Lets it whiff there, that jump, which is actually a dangerous attack. If you space it correctly, that chop will get right through the guard. Because if the axe head projects past the stick, so it has a higher chance of blasting through, especially if the concentrated weight and the leverage that the Fokosh has. There is some physics-based interactions that go on with that, so that's why it does better at breaking through guards, but if you're able to dodge it, or you're able to force him to hit the half, the sting of that attack is much less. Able to get a one-handed chop there.
Hey.
Sidestep, snap cut, nice exchange actually there.
Hey.
Blast through the guard again. Clemino getting a little bit too close without presenting a threat in time. And another hit there.
Hey.
You might be looking at a comeback for Max. It's very difficult with Yendrick to make a... It's difficult for Yendrick to make a comeback like this because he's such a glass cannon, but We've seen it done before. Oh, a nice hit to the head. Let me know he's able to take it there. Crisis averted for him. Hey, switch sides. Max, on the left, please. Not sure what's taking him so long, but I'm pretty sure it's working. That's why he's not mentioning anything. Yeah. Bar bash, sensible voice once more. As far as Clemino's bar and how he's playing, I think he's playing a very straightforward bar that works well for what he needs it to do, especially in this matchup. There's more advanced stuff that he could be trying, but he's got some of the fundamentals down, and that's all you need against Yendrick. Certainly a Yendrick who is less experienced, especially, you can get away with simply moving forward and cutting a lot of the time, and Yendrick won't have a clear answer that doesn't involve hitting you first before you get close in the first place. So spacing is very crucial with Yendrick to make him work, and that's why he can be harder for a new player to make work. By the same token, of course, because he can cause so much chaos, a new player can throw random stuff and surprise him. I think generally speaking, because he doesn't have the same defensive utilities that the sword characters do, he will struggle. So even a slight mismanagement of the distance there can be trouble. In this case, he was able to get a punch after that, so that was good. But the half hit, of course, not doing any damage. Another half hit there, the belly lunge is trying to some blood. Barabash will have a bit of a concussion, but he's not going to be killed. Rattled a little bit. Nice trick shot, very tough move to land. But that was a good situation to show off a little bit because Clemino had already hit his opponent and had a clear advantage. Nice, trying to punish the whiff, but I like what Max was trying to do. He was trying to set up a bait there and move back with the chop, but wasn't quite able to secure that hit that he was looking for. Thunder Punch, just go straight in. Sometimes that's what you need to do. And Max was not at all ready to block that attack. The chop only hit Barabash's left arm slightly, so not a really dangerous hit. The belly lunge there doesn't trade super well with the chop to the head, though. That is the one danger with going low like that, is that you can quickly be punished with a simple hit to the head. Gotta be wary your opponent's not presenting a threat. They both taunt there. A-cut there is beaten by that chop. And so if you want to defend with Yendrick, this is one way to do it. You use single tempo actions. That means you're in one move, you're essentially both defending yourself and hitting your opponent. That's something that Yendrick does excel at if you master him. We're seeing a bit of that from Max right now, and he's starting to make another comeback. Clemino's going to want to put a stop to that, and he does there. The whiff out of measure was too slow, and Clemino simply punished it. Alright, sorry about the wait, Clemino, but your fight is done, and you have won. So, congratulations, and good fight to Max as well. Good effort. Info will be fighting a beer now. So, stay on, Info. A beer will be on the left, Info on the right, and then we'll do Castar against Insigny, and finally Platypi against Radzig. And that will determine who will challenge the champion in the future, and we'll get Turk an opponent, of course. So not to worry, Turk. If somebody doesn't show up, you will be first in line to fight. Just to make things easy. And if we still can't get you a fight before your scheduled fight, we'll still get you somebody to fight who maybe has lost a match or something like that. Okay, a beer will take the left, info will take the right. Yeah, we've got some other candidates for the champion fight, so we can also give you a shot if you earn it. I was thinking if you win the fight this week, you'll be the candidate next week, because we got like 2 other candidates vying for the position right now as well, but we'll see. You can also fight the winner of said fight for the chance as well. There are a lot of options. Info is good to go. I'm not sure what's up with a beer. Okay, info is good. Long guarding, is a beer good to go? Don't know what's up with a beer. He's moving forward, which is a little bizarre. But I'm assuming something is wrong because he's not fighting. We can if somebody's available, but otherwise no, a beer. It just is what it is. Yes, we'll give you Dion Grouse Turk, I guess. Okay, Turk has volunteered the host. We can do that. Yeah, I'm sorry, Abir, your internet clearly just is clearly having issues, so we'll see if a closer host is beneficial. Yeah, I believe that. Perhaps your ISP is causing some problems. It could be artificially slowing your internet down, even though your internet is generally fine. There could still be something going wrong on your end that's not really in your control. So I would have a chat with your ISP about that because that is really annoying. What the hell kind of pizza is that? Let me show you. Let me show the audience this. Actually, I guess you guys can see this now because we're out of the game. What the fuck is this? What? That's not pizza. I hope there's no Italians watching this. They probably started vomiting. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a dumpling at best. All right, Turk, send us the link. We can use your host. That's not a big deal. 7 flags. Just make sure Turk sees that. All right, let's join the parsec. And yeah, the ISP stuff is often outside of your control. So like, I'm not blaming a beer for that, just to be clear. Yeah, even with Ethernet, that can still you can still run into all sorts of issues outside of your control. Keyboard will be needed for info. Alright, I've got the parsec screen up now. Hopefully things work. Looks like I haven't missed the fight yet. Yeah, and it is true, by the way. Abir's not lying about the stutters. He's shown it, so he plays surprisingly well on stutter, but he was getting stutters in previous events. Not just on my host, on Tao's host as well, and some others. But yeah, I think it's something about his ISP. Like maybe he's getting enough internet for most of the stuff he does, but then as soon as he tries connecting with somebody outside of his country, it runs into some kind of issue. Oh yeah, I think I have the sound on Parsec turned off. There we go. That was for Venator's tournament because my voice would echo. So I apologize to anyone who is hearing that. That's outside of my control. There was something on Venator's host that was causing that. We haven't figured out what. But yeah, the echo is pretty unbearable, but shouldn't be hearing it here. So that's good. A beer with the first flag. It looks like everything's good here. The European host helped. Also, if other European players want to request a European host, I should clarify that that is allowed. I'm also happy to play on a European host of somebody if they want to do that instead of my host if for some reason something's not working. It's just that mine is the default since it's hosted in North America. That's all. So we're not being strict with that. Just like how Tao did it, like we can switch hosts as needed. Nice stab there by Info, an attempted blade beat, but he wasn't quite able to connect in time. Host does look good, slightly pixelated, but it's not a problem. That's pretty normal. So it's running really smoothly, so that matters. Oh, I see. He's telling me about why that happens, yeah. Yeah, there's like an option you can disable for that, which I have disabled, but... Yeah, you guys are later. I put Turk later in the fight card. If somebody needs to fight sooner, though, we can move stuff around. We got the necessary early fights out of the way. We're a bit flexible. It's just that we had to get Captain Adler and Clemino's fights done ASAP. Got time. Yeah, it's probably best to stick with the schedule if we can, but yeah, Dion can let me know. Looks like Dion is from Europe, so you guys can also play on Turk's host if you want for that fight. That would probably be better. Nice. Abir just doing the right thing here, more or less, with Barabash, closing the distance. It's a double. I think Barabash is still still a favorite in this matchup. It's not unwinnable for Marie anymore. Marie definitely do some things threaten Barabash, but I think Barabash's tools just happen to counter rapiers really well, so still a pretty clear advantage for Barabash. Info has to play really precisely here. Good exchange there, but that hit from Info could be pretty devastating. There's a hit to the arm. Nice, dashes in, but then stops. That was good. And what Info did is she canceled, or maybe she didn't even cancel. She might have just not thrown the A dash. And then what she did was she did the jab, the B thrust. Smart move, but it has less reach. So eventually Abir was able to call that out. But it's actually a really smart way to get some quick offense with Marie. And you can cancel that B thrust too, so that helps. Okay, switch sides. Bunch of cuts by Abir. Info eventually cracks there, but Marie's auto guard was actually working. It's just that rapiers by design are not designed to block stuff from that close very much, so eventually, you know, stuff will get through. That's how it is in the game in particular. But the fact that Marie was able to block a bit of that was still impressive. That's something she wasn't able to do before. So it's a good thing that it's possible. That's a double. Blade beat. Here does have to get a little bit closer to secure a hit. Nice. Abir went for a snap cut, but he was very flat-footed and out of measure, so Info punished that immediately. There's a chop, again, using long guard to his advantage. Abir showing us a master class of Barabash, I would say. Which isn't surprising if you saw him play on Friday. He was actually able to beat me in a 5-flag fight. It was very, very close. But he managed to snag that victory. There are some Hall of Fame worthy exchanges in that match. I hesitate to make it Hall of Fame because it was like a 5-flag best of 1 fight, so it didn't last very long, but definitely some Hall of Fame level moments there. Some of the rapier fights for pretty cinematic too, actually. This is coming from somebody who's usually not a fan of point weapons, so it still looked really nice. My fight against Oak, against this Calc, was really nice too, and there were some others that were pretty cinematic. There's a great series of events. Double. Abir needs one more to secure a second victory. A lot of pressure on Info here to maintain that distance. Abir did not do the chop in time, it looks like. He's moving forward. I think he wants to grab or something, but against somebody like Info, you really don't want to ever go for grabs. It'll probably be you who's being grabbed instead, like so. Info's not gonna let Abir get away with even attempting to grab. Yeah, you see, this is not gonna work, Abir. I'm telling you right now. You're just never gonna grab Info. Info is too good at grappling, ironically, despite the weapon being used. Triangle. Grab attempt, but too far, it looks like. Or Abir was too quick with the cut. Either one. And Abir still got it. But it was a close call. And Abir switches it up randomly to Yendrith. Back dash. info and is able to secure the thrust there. It kind of skips up from the haft into the body. Thanks for the double lunge. Nice. And runs him through the body. Nice. Hit to the head there and then follows it up. Much more disputed fight, which makes sense. Yendrick really does not like being stabbed. This is a matchup he can really struggle with. I'd say they're both kind of glass cannons in this matchup though, so it really comes down to who's managing the distance well. Pendulum there, but too close to land the chop. The hand protection saves info from one of those, actually. That would really hurt your hand, but it would not get through and kill you, so. Messed up the hand protection too, I imagine, but, you know, it would save you from death, so. The hand protection Marie has is pretty substantial, especially because the update now has made it so that hand protection is more accurate to what we're seeing, so it actually does do its job. Thrust attempts to the hand. Another thrust there. The info's first win in this matchup.
Hey!
That is managed, but that single tempo there, nicely done, displacing the rapier and hitting the arm. Trying to beat the rapier aside a little bit. A bunch of chops there, but out of measure. Abir does get a slight hit for his trouble still, but not a decisive one. It's run through. And there's a thrust by info. Again, Abir is too far, not able to secure a hit. Clearly the pick here was not ideal for Abir. Again, this is one of those matchups that can really go either way. I've seen Yendrick dominate this one too, but it's all about who's able to land the hit first. Just looking at this monstrosity of that Max actually posted. Info's in the middle of fighting right now. Why? Yeah, just goes forward. Keeps it simple, which is probably what you should do. Yeah, you have to mess up pizza pretty bad for me to look at your creation and say that's not pizza. But at least they're admitting it too. They're like, what the hell? We've committed a food crime. Nice stab by Info. Info can still make a comeback here. Just has to figure out this matchup against Abir. I think the thing is, Abir is playing this in a very simple manner. He's not playing super tactically, and that's fine against Maria a lot of the time with Vara, but it's gonna be up to Info to exploit that. He's very determined to close the distance, as he should be. Info has to exploit the fact that sometimes Abir seems to be throwing cuts sort of just to throw them, and try and find a way to punish that. I don't know if the punish window is always so easy to nail, but if Info can find that punish window, it will become that much harder for Abir to actually get this done. Some cuts down low there, but they're not very effective. The triangle, though, beautiful by Info, able to get low and run Abir through at the same time. Getting Abir to crack, and then there's the punch into the grab, nicely done by Info, making it 2-2. And we have ourselves a fight now. And Info was more or less applying, not advice there, even as I was saying it, to be honest, she was making some great adjustments to Abir's style. It's really nice to see Marie actually able to do something against Barabash and punish his mistakes. There was a time when that was basically not possible against a good Barabash. Love to see it. Marie is a meta character again. Definitely has some weaknesses, don't get me wrong. Like, it's not like she's overpowered or... And I think the disadvantage against Barabash is still there, but it's much more manageable. Info now disengaging a little bit and stabbing Barabash as he tries to go for the blade lead. And so Abir is spending a little bit too much time, I think, attacking the blade and not Info. And I think a lot of it's unintentional. He's just missing the measure, if you will. Nice stab to the arm, able to at least force a double. This is good view for Info getting this. The triangle not connecting this time though as it hit the hand protection, and the chop was coming straight down. And this is the beauty of USFC. You can see people over time start adjusting to each other. Oh, and Info let Abir get way too close. And from then on, the Saber has the edge. So, if you're in range to be wide, you're already too close, generally speaking. Unless you're already prepared to do a triangle or something like that. Info overextended and Abir instantly punished, making it 3-3. We still have ourselves a fight. Info needs to be very careful to manage that distance properly. Nice cut, not able to kill, but it is making Abir limp there, which makes it much tougher for him to close. The main thing Info has to watch out for now is these cuts to the hand and the chop. Sometimes the push cut as well is actually a good idea here. And he's going for some upcuts as well. Info taking her time as you should with the rapier. This is how you should play it from a distance, sort of picking Barabash apart. No reason to get into his cutting range if you don't have to. And there's the YY, able to secure a good blade beat and immediately hit the head. So Abir is looking to finish it. If Abir makes it messy, we can see he still is able to get a pretty clear advantage. A thrust there into a jab, nice by Info, another jab, but no kill. Abir still, if he takes another one, it's gonna be bad news. Potentially, they both have taken a hit now. Info definitely wants to avoid taking another, but Abir, having taken 3 hits, if he gets careless, it could easily end badly. And there it is, Info with a quick thrust there to the body. And that's a double, pretty predictable one. They both saw an opening and they both took it. And there's a thrust to the leg. That could be actually huge because Abir can no longer move freely. And there's a stab. Abir throwing a cut out of measure. It hit the hand protection, I think. Or the blade. One of the two. But it's very clearly not in measure, so it's not going to hit. Abir threatening to dash in there. That's dangerous for both, potentially. Info doesn't want Abir to get close, but Abir is also leaving himself wide open if he does so. And now, down to the wire. Info has to lock in, as does Abir. Dashing forward, back, trying to bait something, and then moving out. I love what we've seen from Info, but it is kind of high risk. As she's now forced into the corner, and Abir might see the opportunity and go for a quick attack, but we'll see. He's actually a little bit wary of just closing the distance, but in this case, the Thunder Punch is able to intercept the Rapier, it looks like, and land a hit to the head, thanks to the triangle. Oh, and it's a double. It looked like either one of them could have won that, but it ended up being a double. Thrust attempt by Info that was so close, but Abir is long guarding it, and he sidesteps. Nice dodge. He gets close. This is very bad for Info, but great sidestep there, able to get out of range. So it's actually a good way to get away from your opponent sometimes, is to sidestep away from them, especially if you can get low like that and manipulate the distance. You don't have to just move back. You can move diagonally or move to the side sometimes. By the same token, that can carry you closer to your opponent as well if you're moving in circles. But Abir is able to eventually close the distance. A very epic fight, actually, which is nice to see. But Abir is still able to get close and cause some havoc. Castar against Insigni now. I'll ping them. We could actually stay on your host, Turk. I believe they're both European players, so if you're available, let's do that. Post a link, I'll ping them. Castar and Insigni. Use Turk's link. And we'll give them some time to join and go from there. Castar on the left, by the way, and Insigni on the right. Yeah, it's nice to see Marie actually being competitive, but some slight mistakes on Info's part, and all it takes then there is for Barbash to close in. I don't think anyone needs keyboard, but we'll double check. Alright, Castar is here already. We're just waiting for Insigni. I think Sir Radzig, by the way, Turk, said that he might fall asleep. So if you're lucky and he falls asleep, you'll get a chance for a direct title shot as well. For sure. But we'll see what happens with that. Insignia is here, which is good. Castar on the left, Insignia on the right. We have Sava and Jan. Okay. Castar is actually known as a Sava player, so it's not super surprising. He can play quite a few characters, but Sava is one character he's trying to make work. Insignia with a quick stab, though. The nice quick win to start off this round. Trying to break through the guard there with that powerful cut that Sava has. Goes for a thrust with the knife, but out of measure. The thing is, I find the knife is often a bit of a novelty. It's up close sometimes, but very often it's very, very tough to make it work. Slava is more of a zoning character. The knife is just sort of a backup if for some reason that game plan doesn't work. Going for a thrust there. Not quite able to land it. Parries with a dagger actually actively. That was nice. And a good sidestep to the arm, making this competitive 2-2. Nice. Punishing the whiff immediately. Thrust attempt. Doesn't land. Sidestep. And a hit to the arm. That was nice from the Castar there. Tired swing. Looked like it was going to block all the cuts, but it didn't quite do so because the angle, which was good. It would have been quite surprising if that had happened. Going for a chop. And why? Insigny with an offbeat combo able to secure a kill. Thrust attempt there. Not able to get the kill. But that definitely took a toll on both the health and the stamina, and that cut was not able to compensate for that. Very close fight between these two, but Insigny inching out a bit of an advantage here as he goes for the YY. Both have now taken a hit. Ooh, nice exchange of the back Y, nearly hitting the head. Down forward Y, nice hit to the arm by Castar. Quart attempt there, and Castar runs right into it. Nicely done there by Insigny. Split that in at just the right moment. Pendulum there. Doesn't quite land that thrust there. The dagger thrust doesn't have a lot of range, so. I think it's a dagger thrust and a cut, but the cut also doesn't reach very far. Nice lunge after the parry. Both combatants are playing this really well. Okay, gonna switch the names. Yeah, so far it's proving to be one of the more disputed fights. As Flamino was saying, some good exchanges. Sidestep there by Castar. Nice to see Castar active with the game too. He took a little bit of a hiatus as well, which is understandable. I don't play it that much either, although I'm starting to get back into it because some of the tournaments we've been having lately have been fantastic. So, been really enjoying it. Good lunge. Castar off an early lead actually. This could be huge. Gets Insigny's rhythm down, he can definitely win this match and win the whole thing. And there's a nicely timed lunge, securing another kill, making it 4-0. Sidestep there, trade. But I think moving to the side against that YY was a good idea. Big swing. Another good exchange. Neither fighter getting a clear advantage. That dagger thrust from low really doesn't have much range, so it doesn't quite work. Insigny is starting to get some points as well now. Playing it a bit more patiently. Go straight to the body there at that thrust, and it worked really well. Nice cut there. Castar needing 2 more now. Good exchange. Castar has a beautiful sidestep, and he's looking to finish this round with a win here, making it 1-1. He does so. Good counter of the corkscrew with that stab, but then he finishes it, showing us that Sava can be viable. I find him awkward to use. He isn't very responsive in my opinion compared to some of the other sabers, but Insignia is still able to... Oh, sorry, Castar I should say, still able to make it work. Insignia switching to Barabash actually. A battle between 2 Cossacks. But a good sidestep A, not a cutscene super often with Barabash, but it was the correct move here. Nice 2-intention attack though by Castar, is able to secure a flag of his own. Good feint. Both of them going for feints actually. Fighting over the raid loop, possibly, yeah. Since we're both Cossacks. Drops the knife. Nice hit. Yeah, he's trying to... I like what Castar's doing, but Insignia was able to space him out just right with those cuts. Castar is trying to whiff punish Insignia, but in doing so, he's giving a target. So very good use of zoning moves, is what I would call them, like Insignia to take space away from Castar. And a grab by Insignia, nicely done. They're probably not prepared for that. Dagger thrust. Hey, but he gets punished for a leg cut, and nice pressure by Castar afterwards to secure that flag. Bit of a taunt there, then an exchange. Thrust to the hand, but not able to quite secure a kill. Big splash there as Insignia is caught whiffing there. Thunder punch, but it's a double. It's a double. Grab attempt. Castar's not gonna fall for it a second time. Nice low cut. Sava's pretty vulnerable to those actually. But it's a double, he got hit in the head. Back Y. Insignia needs 1 more to secure a second win. Thunder punch attempt. Sidestep by both of them, good exchange. And they both go low as well. But there goes the hand. Okay, let's see who they pick. Samuel there. Nice. Hula Hey takes the hand right off. And a double. Nice hit. Big cut there, and yeah, predictably that's a double. They both sort of disrespected each other's tempo and went at it. As often happens. Even at high level play, that can happen when both players see a way to kill or they panic a little bit. But there's a grab again from Signy. He's doing really good with these grabs. Catching Castar when he least expects it. Good way to apply pressure as well. Another double. Insigny was already he already planned out his second and third intention, so he went low and then immediately went for the YY, but it was kind of suicidal in doing so. It looks like Insigny actually got a hit in the middle of that. That low cut, not quite able to connect there, and Insigny quickly securing a kill again. Nice, allowing the leg cut to whiff this time and then punishing it. But there's a quick cut by Insigny. Nice punish of the dash. Insigny just moves forward and it's a double as Castar tries to immediately counter, but it turns out that his contention was a little bit suicidal as well. That's the thing people forget when you're being a little defensive or you're forced to counter, whatever it might be. It can also be suicidal to play defense. And that's a good example of that sort of concept in action. It's at least suicidal if you're going for the counter right after, especially. Although if you surrender all initiative, that can also be a danger in a lot of ways in this game. Initiative is super important, even if you want to play patient. Nice usage of Blade Away to taunt his opponent, but he does take a hit. Back Y. No kill just yet, but Castro's almost there if he lands one more hit. Oh yeah, but he's not quite able to do so. Signy needs one more, Castar needs 3 to stay in the match. Signy really wants that push, but he goes in with a cut afterwards, and the trade favors him in the end. So Signy takes it, very close one to end it off, but it wasn't Signy's. We're gonna switch back to my host now, just because I believe Radzid's from Europe, but Platypi is from North America, so we'll use the advertised host for this one. But your host was really good, Turk, from my perspective, so that's good. Be happy to use it in the future. Just like last time, too, it was really smooth. Platypi against Sir Radzig. If one of them doesn't show up for some reason, we'll have Turk fight, and then we'll obviously still get a Dion the fight that we promised him at the scheduled time. It's just that the Turk is up for the champion fight, so we're going to give him priority in that situation. I saw Platypi earlier, so I expect him to show up. Beautiful, yeah. And now we're just waiting for Radzig, but he did say he might fall asleep, so I totally understand if he doesn't show up, in which case Turk will fight. And then Turk will fight me for the champion match. In that event, Turk, we can rotate hosts since I don't think there's a neutral one available. Or we can just stick with mine or just stick with yours. Yeah, I'll let you decide what you want to do if we end up fighting. And the same will go for Radzig if that ends up happening. Platypi doesn't have to worry about that since he's from North America and very close to me. Cool. All right. But if you run into issues, of course, in that event that you do fight me, let me know. We'll give Radzig like another minute, and if not, we'll just let Turk fight, and then Dion will still get a fight right after, maybe against somebody who lost. I'd rather not give somebody who has a streak another fight is all. And it's nice to give people who had a loss like another chance to shine, so. Alright, BK can fight against Dion in that case. It looks like he's around. But it makes the most sense to have Turk. There's no way that pizza was good. You're just lying. No way. BK says he was out on health issues. I hope they're a bit better now at least. That's really a shame. Okay, I'm assuming Turk needs keyboard. And yeah, we'll give you the right side to start. I'm just editing the fight card. Yeah, you've got keyboard now. This is a fight for the chance to fight me, by the way, for the champion belt, so give it your all. Don't lose this fight, because that will mean losing your streak and your shot this week. Honey, what? That's not pizza. Well, I mean, actually, honey can work on pizza. There is a way to make that work, but I just think the problem with that pizza is both how it was made and the way it came out. It's just not a pizza. Yeah, I've actually had like a spicy honey sort of sauce on a meaty pizza before. That can work. But I'm sorry, that abomination you posted is not pizza. It's a dumpling or a calzone or something else like that. It's not a pizza. All right, let's go. I'm gonna warn Platypi in advance. Oh, something happened? I'm gonna warn Platypi in advance that Marie has been buffed, so this might be a tougher fight than he might be expecting, but Isabella is still a good pick here, so I still anticipate this being tough for Turk. Platypi is a very good Isabella player. And he's more or less doing the right thing here, approaching with long guard, then closing in with something else. So nice stab. Ooh, double. Nice dash in there by Platypi. So far, proving quite tough for Marie still. See what Turk can do. Runs Isabella right through. Long guard to approach. It's actually quite difficult to deal with still. No blade beat from the cut. Nice try. But, oh, there's a delayed blade beat, but can't quite capitalize. Yeah, that's tough. If you're not able to blade beat it so easily, then your options become more limited. Dashes in, just doesn't respect the rapier, but sometimes that's how you want to do it. You just go in. Wraps around there, nice cut. Dashes in again, but took a thrust to the thigh. That's actually in real life a dangerous place to be hit. There's a juicy artery there called the femoral artery. If you get thrusted, especially on the inside of the leg, I believe, is where that's located. That can be pretty much an instant kill. It's not technically, like medically speaking, you're not dead right away, but you're basically unconscious right away. So it's a pretty quick fight ending. I think if they're like able to operate on you right there, they can save you from an injury like that, but otherwise I think even in the modern day it's a pretty dire place to be hit. Like you need a surgery team to save you with blood transfusions at the ready and stuff. But even then, still not a good situation to be in. He's going with Tarnowski here. Maybe he's testing the waters a little bit. This is a matchup Marie can actually win. Those wide swings do allow him to close the distance surprisingly quickly, but at the same time they're very predictable. So they're certainly predictable if you're able to step out of range of them, such that the weird timing doesn't matter. Because you're getting your distance right and outranging the opponent. But a good Tarna player definitely can compensate for that. But I think Platypi is spending a bit too much time at range and not enough time closing the distance. And of course, it's very easy for me to sit there and say that when Tarna's a slower character and, you know, Marie's much quicker on her feet. So even if Platypi is doing his best to close in, that nimble point can still be quite dangerous in this version of the game, certainly. Before, I would say Tarna still had an advantage against Marie, but now it's not as clear who has the edge. Good usage of long guard, then goes in with that sidestep A-cut, which is proving to be a nice weapon here. Allows him to close distance and get offline at the point, defending himself at the same time. And that arm is exposed regardless of the hand protection, so very good choice of attack, and this pick, actually, now that he's figured some stuff out, might pay off. And I like what Platypi is doing here from long guard. He's looking for a blade beat to capitalize on right away. He's not quite getting it, I think because his opponent's moving around, but and I think some of the time it's a neutral guard as well, so it's not quite working. It's mostly for long guard. But it is a good plan, keeping your movements economical instead of just throwing wide cuts all the time. Makes it harder to find an opening. The stab there doesn't quite work sidestep. Turk playing a masterful Marie so far. There we go, the blade beat does actually hit Marie directly for some damage. But not able to get close enough to secure the final kill. The leg void actually saves him there twice. Beautiful. But he's getting tired, those hits are taking a toll on the old guy. And there's a dash thrust into a cut to the leg. Good stab, but not quite a kill yet. Good, yeah, Turk moved away this time. If he moved closer, that would have been a hit for Platypi and a kill. Most likely. That parrying move out of measure. Cut attempt. Thrust to the body. And Turk needs one more to make it 1-1. Platypi's gotta be careful. Ooh, out of measure some of those attacks. Turk trying to punish, but not quite able. Ooh, 2 hits actually, because Platypi moved back. And tries to get a stable blind there, but not quite able to. Rapier match now between these two. Platypi can actually play a pretty decent Marie as well, so this could be tough for Turk. Ooh, but the cut is able to reach before the Inquartada. Still a ballsy move, it has to be said, to go up against the Marie specialist with Marie. Thrust attempt. Both taking a hit. Sits under a little bit, but not able to get it. And it's a double, pretty predictable. They were both sort of mirroring each other there, so it was only a matter of time before they both see an opening. They kill at the same time. Nice double lunge, able to get close enough to secure a hit. Thrust there through the arm, but not able to get a kill. Still, his opponent's tired. Thrust there. Massive danger there of overextending, and it is capitalized on right away. Thrust attempt there. Nice hit. Blade away there. Nice taunting. Another blade away. But his opponent knows better than to take bait like that. Pretty blatant. But there's a hit by Turk, keeping it simple, being patient. Working out nicely. Good cut there. Platypi trying to force an engagement. They both trade. Very messy. Not able to get a kill. He's a bit too close there, and they both go for a tired thrust, but it looks like Platypi was quicker with the input. Their blades got tangled up a bit, and Platypi just had the better outcome. Good usage of long guard to block the thrust of both of them. Nice exchange, but Turk seems to be getting the better end of the smear. Good sidestep cut to the head. Down to the wire. Good blade beat. Thrust, another thrust by Turk. Turk needs one more to get a clear advantage in this match, making it 2-1. Blade away, just out of measure, trying to bait him in. Good thrust to the arm. Thrust attempt. Trying to push there. A little too far for that. Oh, he got run right through there, but no kill. Still, pretty dangerous there, having taken a hit, and all it takes is one more. And there it is. Turk needs one more to secure the win. Isabella. Yeah, Platypi doesn't play Barabash, so I suspected that was a mistake. It's very easy to accidentally pick Barabash in that situation. Because he's like the default character for the right side, as Isabella is the default for the left. Yeah, Platypi knows Isabella is going well, so he's gonna stick with that now. Good hit there by Turk. Good cut. Kill. Lots of cuts by Turk. The thing is, when you're cutting, you're not fighting for the center as well, so. Dashing in, more cuts to the side. It's actually working. Yeah, you gotta be careful with long guard in this situation. There are pretty simple ways to counter this once you figure it out, but it can be off-putting at first. Maria is actually pretty decent at sidestep game. Oof, that was quite a long guard movement there to stop it. Again. But it actually gets through this. He's able to get close enough. And actually, Marie has a chance of winning against this Isabella and winning the whole thing for Turk. It's pretty huge. That cut, dashing in. And there it is, forces the point right through. Trying to beat the blade. Yeah, now Platypi has to close in, but he's a bit afraid to do that because of the sidestep. But he it's basically on him to do it because he has the reach disadvantage in this matchup. You need to change it up. There's definitely some moves Isabella could try here, but it's a matter of finding them. Yeah, Platypi is too afraid to close in, and that's why Turk is eventually able to find an opportunity. Nice, go straight to the hand this time. That's what Platypi needs. He needs to find a long-range cut that immediately interrupts that, because at the end of the day, the Rapier's not as threatening to launch when it comes to cutting, so you gotta find the correct moves to instantly punish that. But was not found in time. Turk was able to take it. Now we've got Dion against BK tie. Okay, let's get them both in here, and if not, Turk will fight me for the champion fight. I'm assuming that's Dion here. He has a different name on Parsec. Okay. BK needs keyboard. That's good. Just join up. Both need keyboard, which is fine. Alright, Dion, take the left. And BK, take the right. You both have keyboards, so go ahead. Dion going with Saba. BK is a Yon main, so I'm not surprised if he eventually goes with Yon. Alright, I'm gonna be right back. You guys can still fight on. If I'm not here, just switch sides and keep fighting. The names might be wrong if I'm not back in time, but that's fine. Feel free to keep fighting for a best of 5.
Yeah!
Okay, I'm back. Looks like we're still in the first round of their fight, which works out nicely. Turk, if you want to get into commentators, let me know and I can let you in as well. If anyone else wants to. BK still takes it in the end. I did give Dion a very experienced opponent. Dion is newer. But I hope Dion has some fun with this and learns some things from his opponent, because that's what matters. Switch sides. Waiting for Dion. Somebody went back. Okay, you guys can use Turk's host if you want. Apparently there was some delay or something. Can't join. What do you... You're still in the parsec. But you can use Turks if you want. Yeah, you can also do that if something's happening on your end or something. Can't choose right player. Try clicking the window. Sometimes you just have to do that as well. Sometimes it's not your active window, so... Yeah, there's also that. So when you're playing on keyboard, it's like you have a different set of controls. Because it's like you're both playing together locally, so that's why it's often recommended for keyboard players that you get like a keyboard splitter or something like that, so you can play from either side and still have the same controls. Okay, he's able to move now. Might still be working out the controls though. Worst case scenario, if this is like your first time using these controls, we can just let you play on the left for now. It's up to you. Because Dion is newer, so I won't make him switch sides this time. Just in the future, it's good to familiarize yourself with both sets of controls or to use a keyboard splitter or something to normalize them for both sides. Can't lock in. Alright, let's redo it. I'll reset gamepads as well, that can also help. Try again. Okay, I don't know. I can restart the game as well, that could help. There we go. You might have accidentally locked in the bar though. If you want to switch, you can just press escape or something. Don't switch the map. Here, let's double check he wanted bar bash, because that was really quick. Do the pick that you selected previously. We'll see if you wanted bar or neon. Yeah, there we go. They've actually switched characters, possibly, or unless they didn't switch sides. I guess we'll see. BK is a yawn main, or maybe I didn't switch the names, hang on. That could also be my bad. We were dealing with the technical issues. No, I switched the names, so... It's possible they didn't switch sides then. Sidestep there. By the Yon player. Still not sure if that's BK or Dion. Nice follow up after the Y. Y getting his opponent on the defensive and following it up. It's a good way to get some offense going, is to force them to keep defending and essentially keep them in the palm of your hand the whole time. Thrust in the hand. Yeah, I'm suspecting this is BK because this is very clean Yon gameplay, but I'll double check. We can keep the same sides, by the way. That's not a problem. I just want to make sure I know who's who. Cut there. Stab with the knife. That was nice, but the back Y before he could land it. As the Saber has more range, so there's the right call there, backing off to get range back and then punish the dagger stab. The dagger is not super powerful in this game, to be honest, so you often don't want to use it unless you're really close. Nice upcut into dagger thrust there. Exchange actually, dagger blocking some of that. And he's going with the same combo there, getting some hits, but not quite killing. That's a double. There, some stabs, and then a cut to the arm. Alright, just gonna double check who is who. I'm pretty certain that was BK on Yon. But they haven't responded. Whatever. They don't seem to want to switch sides, so you can just lock in. Okay, yeah, so we got confirmation that was Dion on the left. They didn't switch sides, which is fine. Dion was struggling with the controls on the right, so that makes sense. Alright, that's all I needed to know. Okay, BK probably wants Yon, so let's give him a chance to pick Yon and we'll continue. Yeah, it's all good, Dion. It takes some getting used to. That's why we recommend the keyboard splitter. Oak also has a software that he uses to fix that as well. If keyboard splitter isn't really what you want, there's definitely some options. But yeah, the experience is definitely on BK's side here, and I would say Yon is also generally a stronger character than Sava. Sava can definitely be made to work, though. We've seen that. It's just he's more complex to play, and Yon is a lot more reliable. BK is very confident now moving forward. Good parry of that cut there, but not quite able to follow it up with an attack that lands. There you go, nice upcut and X cut. Not a combination seen super often, but that was the correct series of attacks to use there, I would say. Ooh, the trick shot is dodged. That's how you know he's getting really confident, is he's using useless moves like the trick shot. I guess it's possible he's accidentally doing it when he's trying to corkscrew as well, though. But there's a stab. Very powerful move still. For Yon. Very fast as well, very difficult to defend against if you're not ready with long guard. Good dagger thrust and a follow-up there, the upcut. That was good by Dion. Trying to blade beat there. Going low thrust. Good long guard usage by Dion. He definitely knows about that. And it's working to his advantage there. Nice. Going for a low thrust. Not quite able to follow it up. But then Dion actually getting some nice counterattacks in there, and it's quite even now. Okay, he's gonna have to change it up a little bit. Goes for a deep thrust, but he still doesn't quite get the kill. Upcut attempt. Dion on the defensive. Nice counterattack attempt for upcut, but not quite able to make it land. Again, trying to snipe the hand off of the counter. Upcut, nice low cut, and actually Dion for the first time is ahead. It's pretty huge for Dion. Nice, cut to the head as his opponent went low. Headshots are much more dangerous than shots to the leg. Not that leg shots are useless, they're far from useless actually. If you set them up right, they're very useful ways to get past your opponent's guard. But you gotta be wary of the fact that your opponent might be able to leg void or hit your head. There's a higher risk associated with going for the leg, but there is a time and a place where that is the right move. Going for a dash thrust there, doesn't quite follow it up. Nice try by Dion. Get stabbed though, they've both taken a hit now. Trying to pick apart the defense there, BK, but not quite. He's limping, so it's tough to close in. Trick shot attempt again, not a very useful move. Thrust attempt. And both go for a thrust, but the Saber has more range, so unsurprisingly BK does take that flag, but it's down to the wire still. BK obviously wants to win this right here. Dion cannot allow that to happen or it'll be over. And there's a hit for Dion, so it's looking that much more possible now to win this round. BK's got to watch that stamina after that hit, but he goes for the YY to beat down the long guard and then secure the hit. So BK takes it. I hope it wasn't too bad for you, Dion, but good effort there, especially in that last round. Hope you learned some stuff and had some fun, and I hope to see you in future competitions. If you want, in the future, you can also ask for a European host, and if a European host is available, like Turk was offering, you can always go there as well. So if you're having some trouble with that, there are solutions available. Now we've got Platypi against me. Yeah, the USFC is very flexible that way. We can get you a European host if somebody's available to host. So I'm glad it was better towards the end, though. It really looks like you were getting locked in there and put up a nice fight with some of those counters. So very well done. BK is a much more experienced player, so right out of the gate you had a really tough debut, but that was still really impressive. I hope Platypi is here. We've got the champion belt fight now. Oh, wait, did I... Hang on, that might be my fault. Yeah, it's Turk, yeah. My bad. Yeah, we weren't sure at first because there were other contenders, but turns out one of them didn't show up and you beat the other one, so here you are. And you're fine with my host, it looks like, so just let me know if you run into problems and we can switch. Cool. Let's do this. I'll get the names sorted too, hang on. I'll take the left, of course, since I'm the champion. I get to pick the side to start us off. And remember, we gotta touch tips first, and while I do the announcement, then we're good to go. I'm gonna stick with Barabash to start and go from there. Test out his Marie a little bit with my main. Okay, so on the left you have yours truly, the champion. Just recently took the championship fight from the Horseman of Death himself, Luck. And I intend to hold my title against this new challenger, British Turk, who has made a recent debut back into the Hellish Quart community and taken some names actually pretty rapidly in the USFC. And he'll be hoping to take the title from me, but he is a dirty Marie player, so since he's a dishonorable user of pointed weapons, I cannot allow that to happen. So, as usual, Turk, fight dirty, fight clean, and we can begin. Yeah, take the left. And that's it. Great fight, Turk. That was a tough Marie. Very good fight. Especially that first round, I was very, very worried when you got that early win. That was really tough to deal with. I had to completely change how I play Bara to adapt to that. You definitely have to respect the rapier, and you have to play a much tighter game with the chops, and make sure that your blade is fighting for the center at all times, because as you saw, as soon as I sort of gave up the center, Marie would tend to win. And it was crucial that I close the distance really quickly too, but do so in a way where I'm not just opening myself up, because even long guard doesn't always block the stab if I'm too close, so. Still, great to see Marie finally, like, reaching the championship fight and putting up an excellent show. Like, I really think she could be USFC champion material at some point, so that's really good. Yeah, so really loving this update so far, loving what Kubel did with the game. Is it perfect? No. There are still obviously some issues, but it is much, much better than it was even 2 weeks ago, so love to see it. Good game to my opponent, and I'll see you guys next time. That was a good event as usual.